Yo, Grand Rising, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the live. This is your Coach Renz. And today we normally do this on Tuesday. I got to go see a man about a horse on Tuesday. So, got to do this live with What's Wrong with the Bible on today. Got me a nice cigar, getting ready to go with it. Nice Connecticut. You know, I forgot this was a cigar as a gift, and I don't even know what kind it is. Flor de Oliva. It's a Nicaraguan. So we got to do this today instead of our normal on Tuesday for this particular video, which I forgot to put it in this category. So let me go over here and put it in this right category. Because, like I said, tomorrow I more than likely won't be able to do a live. So I wanted to make sure we get this content out today. I don't think I can change it right now. Oh, forget it. I'll get to it later. But I want to get this one out today. So as we give our little 5 minutes for people to get on, this is What's Wrong with the Bible series, where we are literally going through the Bible. We're up to Numbers 22 and 23 today. And if you want to see the older ones, all you have to do is go to my YouTube channel by the same name. Go to the playlist, and on the playlist, you should be able to find all the videos for each book of this Bible. This started out, I started doing this because people always, you need to read the Bible, you need to read it, you don't understand it because you ain't read it. And I said, okay, well, let's read it. But as it has turned out, it's become more of a situation where we are discovering even more reasons why we have walked away from this thing. It's taken me all the way back to when I first decided to walk away from this religion. And it was through that study that I walked away from it. So it's been cool to go back through this again, considering that I don't read this book annually. I don't read this book often anymore. After I walked away from the Bible, this religionist book, back when I was like 27, 28 years old, when I finally walked away from it, didn't really read it that much after that. Certainly after I turned about 37, 38 years old, I hadn't really read this book nor given it time to go through the whole thing since then, because there was no need for it. My time was better spent studying the Hermetics and studying other things instead of going back to this book. So that is why I don't go through it anymore. And that's why it's very fascinating to be going through it right now. And it's kind of re-immersing ourselves, excuse me for a second, into the understanding of the things that allowed us to walk away. Grand Rising, Andrea, how you doing? We're almost at the 5-minute mark. We're going to get started. I got me a nice Nicaraguan, Connecticut though. It's a Connecticut wrapper. We're going to see what this one is like. All right. This has a Connecticut wrapper. I was like, let me get some. This should go well with my coffee. We're going to find out. What? Let me get there. Because I was researching some other things today. I want you guys to go and check out the video that I've just posted on Facebook and that's uploading right now on YouTube. They're currently uploading. So by the time we're done with this, they will definitely be uploaded on YouTube as well, where I broke down the differences between, I saw this video rather, and it reminded me of how there are variations as to how Saul died. And so I did a short video showing the contradictions of Saul's death. That in itself, that by itself is enough reason to look at this book and say that it is invalid. It is invalid. Probably your third greatest king in the whole Israeli dynasty situation of this book, and they can't get right how the man died. This is just amazing. That being Saul. But even in this chapter, you have to suspend the chapter we're about to go through, Numbers 22 and 23. You have to suspend your belief in order to go through. It's kind of like going to the movies. You know how when you go to the movies, you have to suspend your belief in order for you to enjoy the movie. This is the same thing here. You have to suspend your belief in order to enjoy or follow this book. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're past that 5-minute mark, so I want to thank everybody for being here. Please continue to share the videos. I greatly appreciate every share that you do. It helps grow the channel. It helps to allow for me to be able to do what I'm doing without having to do subscriptions or, I mean, some people do. I didn't know I had subscriptions on Facebook, but I appreciate those people who have done that. And on YouTube, I didn't even know that, but I appreciate it. But it doesn't force me to do things that pull money from you guys' pocket in order for me to be able to do this on a consistent basis or to jump through a whole bunch of hoops. And so I appreciate you guys for your shares and for watching every video and sharing and commenting on every video, because that's what makes it go. That makes the algorithm happy, which in turn makes me happy. It makes me able to do this, which makes you happy. So we all getting our happiness. See, cause and effect of happiness. There you go. But this is one of the Asheo. Exactly, Nikki. We are about to read one of the most well-known, probably out of the book of Numbers. This is probably the most well-known story in the book of Numbers that I guarantee that most Christians haven't read or thought about or given much thought to it. So let's get started. Then the Israelites traveled to the plains of Moab and camped along the Jordan River, along the Jordan across from Jericho. Now, I want you to keep in mind, I'll get there in a minute. Now, Balak, son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was terrified because there were so many people indeed. Moab was filled with dread because of the Israelites. The Moabites said to the elders of Midian, "This horde is going to lick up everything around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the fields." Grand Rising, Angela. So Balak, son of Zippor, who was king of the Moabs at the time, we already said that earlier, sent messengers to summon Balaam, son of Beor, who was at Pethor, near the Euphrates River. In his native land, Balak said, "A people has come out of Egypt. They cover the face of the land and have settled next to me. Now come and put a curse on these people, because they are too powerful for me perhaps. Then I will be able to defeat them and drive them out of the land. For I know that whoever you bless is blessed, and whomever you curse is cursed." The elders of Moab and Midian left, taking with them the fee for divination. When they came to Balaam, they told him what Balak had said. "Spend the night here, Balaam," they said, and I will report back to you with the answer the Lord gives me." So the Moabite officials stayed with him. God came to Balaam and asked, "Who are these men with you?" Now I want to stop right there for a second. I know I read a whole bunch. Red Rising, Tracy, Jeremy, Marvin, but there's a reason why I read a whole bunch of that stuff because normally I would have stopped sooner, break down a little bit, but I needed all of that so that I can paint this picture for you. So the first thing that we're looking at is that the Israelites have traveled and they're like near Jericho again, but of course, that's why they say they go in circles, because they keep going by Jericho, going by Jericho, going by Jericho. Look at the Promised Land, but you can't go. It's National Lampoon's European Vacation. Look, here's the Eiffel Tower. Look, here's the Big Ben. Same thing over and over and over again. These writers have no They have no imagination. They just keep writing the same stuff. Now, so they're camping along the Jordan River, and Balak is the son of Zippor, but he's a Moabite. He's from Moab. They saw what they claimed that they did to the Amorites. They supposedly utterly destroyed them. Mind you, the Moabites are their cousins, right? They always lost, exactly. Understand, the Moabites are their cousins. So remember and the Midians are the elders and priests of the Moabite people. Remember when Miriam was pissed at Moses because his wife was a Midianite? She was a daughter of Jethro. Jethro was a Midianite priest who are Moabite people. So remember, they was pissed at him for that. And then she got leprosy. Miriam got leprosy for being mad, even though Aaron didn't get nothing. Stay with me now. If you go all the way back to Genesis, when Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, Lot's wife looked back, turned to a pillar of salt. Lot's daughters get him drunk. The oldest daughter gets him drunk, have sex with him. Youngest daughter gets him drunk, have sex with him. Oldest daughter has a son. His name is Moab. He is the father of the Moabite people. That's the cousin relationship. They are cousin people. But yet there is hatred from Miriam and Aaron about him marrying this Midianite woman. For all to satisfy some of the people who get caught up in the color. Yes, if his wife was considered a black woman and they are cousins, and that would mean that Lot's daughters were black, so was Lot. Then if Lot is Abraham's nephew, then black. But persons of color. We always can accept it as person of color. It doesn't really matter. But I know that in the after comments, or maybe even in these comments, somebody's going to say something about that. So let me just go ahead and get that part out of the way, because that part doesn't matter. But so these Moabite people are their cousins. So because one of the questions that some people who read when we read this book, how is it that this God is speaking to Balaam? How is it that Balaam knew to go to this God? Why would Balaam go to this God? This is because they're cousins. They are cousins. Nikki, I need you, girl. Numbers 22. Grand Rising Sheila. Grand Rising. Bro, I do not want to mess up your name. Afina, Afia. All right, Ben. I know Ben Israel of Israel, but Ben Israel. That's because I'm gonna mess up that first name. No, at a higher conscious state of mind, of thinking, color doesn't matter at all. But anyway, these people would have been mixed with Egyptians and everybody else by now, if this story was actually true. So continue. So the Moabite people were still in worship of this Canaanite god of Yahweh. Remember that you got to go back and look at the fact that Canaanite, although it is a specific group of people, it is also a term that you can use to talk about a large portion of Semitic people fall under the Canaanite name, not just the individual group. They shared deities. Yahweh is a Canaanite god. Matter of fact, Yahweh is a Canaanite god whose brother is Baal, whose mother is Asherah, whose father is El. Later on, Yahweh and El become one. Asherah becomes the wife of El. They still had Baal as a child. And then by the time we get to Hezekiah, Asherah gets thrown away. Yahweh and El are just one, and there is no wife. There are no children. But back at this time frame, the Moabite people and the Israelites would still be worshiping, or could possibly be worshiping, the same God. So It is not crazy for Balaam to be speaking to the same God of Moses. And yes, you're right, Nikki. Color doesn't matter when we're talking about a book that's fake. It's a made up book. It's made up stories. You can't validate historically none of these stories. So before I always find that part interesting when I go past here to see that Balaam is speaking to the same God that Moses speaks to. That this God is also speaking to Balaam. And Balaam receives it and Balaam knows it. But notice there is a difference. There is a cost for divination. It reminds me of how we talk about witchcraft is only witchcraft when it's some other person's religion. But when the same religion does it, then it's not witchcraft, it's God's work. But keep in mind that they brought a fee for divination because that's going to come up later. But it's not something that comes up in this book, but it comes up as something that Bible apologists try to use. And they take that one moment of saying they brought the fee for divination to create an excuse for this book. So to continue, Grand Rising Karen. Balaam said to God, Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, sent me this message. A people has come out of Egypt, covers the face of the land. Now come and put a curse on them for me. Perhaps then I will be able to fight them and drive them away. But God said to Balaam, do not go with them. You must not put a curse on those people because they are blessed. The next morning, Balaam got up and said to Balak's officials, go back to your own country, for the Lord has refused to let me go with you. So he's speaking to God, and this was his divination that he received from the same God of the Israelites. And this God is saying that, no, don't put a curse on them. They're blessed. After this God done sent plagues and serpent snakes and fed them 1.4 trillion quails after feeding them insect shit. Yeah. Don't bother them. That's my job. I'm this guy. I'm the one who do shit to them. Nobody else. Oh, I forgot when somebody said something that I'm repeating what they say. I forgot to put it up there. Like, so Nikki says that saying the rosary, witchcraft, chanting a prayer, witchcraft, seeming advice from the head of the church would make the leaders seers and for divination. Exactly. It would. Oh, thank you, Karen. We appreciate that. Yeah, so it's as long as they're doing it, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So let's continue. Where was I? So they came out of Egypt and all that kind of stuff. Oh, it was funny when he said earlier, who are these men that came with you? You're supposed to be God. You're supposed to know all these people. You're supposed to know everything. It's a dumb question. All right, so the next morning, now we already read that part. So verse 14. So the Moabite officials returned to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. Then Balak sent other officials, more numerous and more distinguished than the first. They came to Balaam and said, this is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. Do not let anything keep you from coming to me, because I will reward you handsomely and do whatever you say. Come and put a curse on these people for me. So I'm going to send you some more money and more important people. It's normal. It's normal. But Balaam answered, even if Balak gave me all the silver and gold in his palace, I could not do anything great or small or go beyond the commands of the Lord my God. Now, Spend the night here so that I can find out what else the Lord God will tell me. That night, God came to Balaam and said, since these men have come in to summon you, go with them, but do only what I tell you. Grand Rising Rodney, Debbie, Sheila, Gerald, Grand Rising. Now this part is going to be interesting. Now I want you to keep that line right there in your mind for a minute. Keep that line. That night, God came to Balaam and said, since these men have come to summon you, go with them, but do only what I tell you. So he's giving him the permission to go, right? We all see that. It ain't just me, right? We understand that. Verse 21. Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the Moabite officials, because this guy just said in the verse above that, go ahead and go with him. But God was very angry when he went, and the angel of the Lord stood on the road to oppose him. How you tell somebody, hey, I want you to go ahead and go with them, but then as soon as they leave, they get mad? Okay, I'm about to give an example, but ladies, promise me y'all will not get mad at me. Promise me, y'all won't get mad at me. Every dude on here already know what I'm about to say, or an example of what I'm about to say. Every guy knows this already. Hey man, yeah. So Craig and them call me up. Say they want, we finna go. They want to go play some ball. Ask me if I'm gonna go play ball. Oh, okay. Go ahead on. Go play ball with them. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go play ball. But then as soon as you walk out the door, they mad. You come back. You just left me in the house. You just went playing ball with your friend. You know what I'm saying? Brian already knew what I was talking about. I mean, I'm just saying, every man knows that, because we've all experienced that in one form or fashion from somebody. And yes, it's generally a woman that we experience that from. So God is only saying one thing and then meaning another. Now, I'm not saying every woman does this and does it all the time, so y'all don't get mad at me about it. I'm just saying this is one of those things that dudes have to decipher, going with the boys. Okay, does she really want me to go, or she just saying I should go? Like, well, do I need to Tony Dorsett this thing? I mean, what is it? What's going on here? Too many women do it, so it is what it is. That worked on me when I was younger. Now that I'm older, if I go and I come back and you got an attitude, what you got an attitude for? You should have said something. Don't say shit you don't really want. And if you gonna have an attitude, you need to go some other room in the house, or I'm gonna go some other room in the house. You mad because I left? Shit, I'm about to leave again. Cause hell no. You get older, you're like, nah, I ain't finna. Oh well, honey, I should have known. I should have known that you wanted me to stay here with you. I should have realized these things. Yeah, nah. Rising chair. Okay. All right, y'all stop. Get back to the subject, man. Damn, y'all ain't got no sense. Okay, where were we? But that's some bullshit, though, right? I think we all agree. That's some bullshit. Exactly. You start giving less fucks when you get older. So, okay, so back to it. So the guy was very angry when he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the road to oppose him. Balaam was riding on his donkey, and the two servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel, we got to be specific about that one. That it's only the donkey who sees this deity at first, this angel. And it's funny because this is one of those passages, and maybe it's because I grew up in Baptist churches where Baptist people always says animals and babies can see angels and gods and stuff like, oh, he playing with an angel, because the donkey sees where Balaam does not. Balaam was riding with his donkey, and the two servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing on the road with a drawn sword in his hand, it was turned off the road and into the field. Balaam beat it to get it back on the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in the narrow path through the vineyard with the walls on both sides. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it pressed into the wall, crushing Balaam's foot against it. So he beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved ahead and stood in the narrow place where there was no room to turn, either to the right or the left. Then the donkey saw the angel of the Lord and lay down under Balaam. And he was angry and beat it with his staff. Okay, so before I go on to 28, this is just stupid. It's just stupid. Why not just show up? Why you gotta cause this donkey to get beat down? Like, this guy loves some animal. I'm gonna call PETA on this guy. I'm surprised PETA doesn't take a stand against the reading of this book to children, because this angel is causing the donkey to get unmercifully beaten for no reason. Just make yourself apparent to Balaam right off the bat. Boom, donkey ain't got to get beat. But nope, got to beat the donkey 3 times. Got to beat the donkey. And I know that some Christians say that, oh, they showing how later on in the story Balaam is beaten for 3 times of giving 3 messages. Blah, blah, blah. We're gonna see this in the next chapter. And 3 times he gave him, and then he had to bow down. And so it's this. But it has no meaning. None. When Jesus was in the grave for 3 days. No. That's somebody writing about a Jesus character, and they know this story to put the 3 days in there. When actually they're just talking about the son. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'm sorry. I missed some of y'all comments. Let me make sure. But yeah, I'm gonna get to the talking donkey in just a second. Yep, it's a lot of violence, a whole bunch of animal cruelty. So continuing 28. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and it said to Balaam, why have you done this to me? Wait a minute. What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times? I'm sorry. I made myself laugh. I did not plan on doing the little donkey sound at the end. My bad. I just came out. Oh my gosh. Oh. So the donkey just started talking, right? And then Balaam answers the donkey, you have made a fool of me. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now. Motherfucker, donkey just started talking. Hey, bro, we got to make some money. Or, oh shit, this donkey is possessed. Not, you've made a fool out of me and I'll kill you with a sword. You got the world's only talking donkey and you want to kill it with a sword. Come on, man. That don't make no sense, Balaam. That makes no sense. But we're going to continue with this dumbass story. The donkey said to Balaam, am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden to this day? Have I've been in the habit of doing this to you. You gotta have a at the end of that. Right. Actually, Debbie says snakes and donkeys talking on Facebook. These are the only two animals that actually talk in this Bible. But most Christians, there are many Christians who don't accept, like outside of America, they don't accept that the snake actually talk. That's a literal thing, but they do accept that the donkey talk, which is some bullshit all around. Right. It's Shrek donkey. You just got great timing, Boondocks. Your timing is great. Your timing was great. That's all that was. I couldn't help it, man. It's just so. Let me keep going. So he said, "Have I been in the habit of doing this to you?" No, he said. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his sword drawn. So he bowed down low and fell face down. Right? If he would have done this in the very beginning, he would have just fell face down at that point. Unnecessary torturing of animals. That's what this God loves. Torture the animals. Torture the people, torture the animals. The angel of the Lord asked him, "Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times?" Motherfucker, you know why. You know why. I'm on the road going this way. Donkey be all the way. Now, normally when you want a donkey, you ha ha ha. And the donkey go where you want to go. You got the reins and everything. You go where you want to go. But the donkey going wild, you got to get back, get back. But you none appeared to the donkey. Like, who wrote this shit? You none appeared to the donkey, scared the shit out of the donkey. Of course the donkey is going crazy. So the man is trying to get the donkey to be domesticated. And you're going to ask, why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times? This is the stupid writing in this book. Right? Anyway, I have come here to oppose you because your path is a reckless one before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away, I certainly would have killed you by now. But I would have spared it. So I want y'all to think about what they just said. He asked him, why did he beat the donkey? 3 times. Because the angel came to oppose Balaam and would have killed Balaam if the donkey hadn't turned away after the donkey saw him. So the donkey saved his life, but he would have killed Balaam and not the donkey. But the donkey done saved Balaam's life. So he's questioning, why have you beaten this donkey? But you came to kill Balaam because he's on a reckless path, but he's on the path that this God earlier said to go with them. You understand what I'm saying? God said go with them. He went with them, obeying this God. God gets mad, sends an angel. The angel was going to kill him, but the angel only made itself present to the donkey. He's skirt to the left, skirt to the right, skirt, skirt. And then when this guy opens Balaam's eyes, like he forgot, oh shit, damn, only the donkeys can see him. That's why all this foolishness is going on down now. Balaam, bam, now you can see him. Woo, I just saved your life, Balaam. Praise me, praise me, praise me, praise this God. And the angel was like, yeah, I was going to kill your ass, bro. Bro, you 187, straight up. But I was spared the donkey because you just beaten the donkey. You see how stupid this is? This makes no sense whatsoever. This is like the worst planning. This all-seeing God has the absolute worst planning. Hold on. Louis Cruz said you could reach so many more people if you went live on TikTok as well. I just got back to having 1,000 people on my new TikTok channel because when I had 30,000 people on TikTok decided it wanted to cancel my channel. So I was going to do it today, but I didn't feel like going upstairs and getting the charger that I would need in order for that phone to work, in order to have that phone on TikTok. And StreamYard doesn't stream live on TikTok, so that's why I'm not on TikTok streaming live. I would prefer if all my streams were on the same one, because then I can see everybody's message in the same, and I only have to look at one camera. But thank you for your statement. But yeah. What are you talking about? Wait until your audience see you reading chapters of this deity smearing animal feces on people. Oh, we ain't got that yet. We ain't got that yet. We ain't got that yet. Slow your roll. Slow your roll. Slow your roll. We ain't got that yet. Yeah. Yeah, but we're on YouTube and Facebook. We're on YouTube and Facebook. That's why I put when if a comment I'm referring to a comment and I'm not reading, I try to put that comment up there so that the people on either side can actually see what the other person said. Because like Boondocks is on YouTube. So let's continue though. Where was I? Yeah, he would kill. Yeah, he was gonna kill Balaam. Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned," even though it's not question mark. But he says, "I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me." So it should be question mark. I have sinned. What are you talking about? Basically, is what he's saying. Basically, he's saying, what? I did not see you. I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now, if you are displeased, I will go back. Balaam makes sense. You see what I'm saying? He's making sense. Hey, I sinned. How did I sin? God told me to go with them. I went with them. But I didn't see you standing on the road. Only the donkey could see you. So why would I not try to get the donkey to go the right way? But if this is displeasing to you, man, I'll just go back. Like, what the fuck? Y'all need to get y'all stuff squared away up in headquarters. Because you can imagine Balaam was like, this is stupid. This is just dumb. So Balaam said to the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with the man, but speak only what I tell you." So Balaam went with Balak's official. What was the point of all of that? What was the point? So this is when I said earlier, pay attention to the fact that they brought a divination fee, and then the men brought even more money the second time. Christian apologists will say that this whole sequence of events happened because this God was worried that Balaam might be influenced by the money. Now, there was no indication that he was influenced by the money earlier because when they paid the divination fee, he said exactly what this guy said. They came up, he said exactly what this guy said. There's no indication in the story that Balaam was incentivized by money to do anything. That everything he did, it was based on his divinations from this guy. So the Christian apologist saying that this whole scenario with the donkey happened because he was worried about Balaam falling for the money is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. All right. But so there's still then the question, what was the purpose? If the angel of the Lord said, "Go with these men, but only speak what I tell you," that's what the God told them anyway. Go with these men, only speak what I tell you, only do what I tell you to do. This was stupid. Christians love this passage, but it's one of them dumbass passages. It makes no sense whatsoever. And it drives me insane. There's no such thing as sin. We are not born sinners. We are born into love and happiness. Our parents are happy and love us when we are born. Sin is man-made and put fear into our purpose. I am in agreement with you. The only thing that I determine is sin is when you do things that is against your own best interest. That's it. When you are doing something against your own best interest, that's the only thing is sin. Everything else is bullshit. And why would this guy worry? Grand Rising Michelle, there is absolutely no reason this guy should worry. We say explain God's point again for this passage. Well, so I don't know if you mean God's point or you talking about the apologists. The apologists say that this guy was worried that Balaam would have been influenced by the money that these people were bringing. And so that's why he had the angel come down and do, the Tony Dorsett versus, Howie Long deal on this with the donkey and the angel. so that they can reiterate to Balaam to only do what God tells you to do, but still go with these men, even though that's what he said in the beginning. In truth, this passage is filler. It's filler space. And it's God talked to donkeys, because it makes no sense if you think about it. If you critically think through this, God says get up and go with the officials. He gets up, he goes with the officials. God gets mad, right? He sends an angel. The angel only shows himself to the donkey. The donkey goes off the beaten path 3 times. Balaam beat the shit out of the donkey because the angel keeps showing up to the donkey. The angel said, I was going to kill you if it wasn't for this donkey going left and right. Old boy's like, what did I do to make you kill me? And if you don't want me to go, I won't go. Tell me what you want me to do. I go back. And then he tells him, nah, go ahead and go with them. Just do what God tells you to do. Which is what he was doing in the first place. You see, this is purposeless. This makes no sense. So it's done. It makes no sense whatsoever. The whole story is nutty. The whole story is straight up nutty, professor. It makes no sense. It's like, hey, we need to throw a talking donkey story in here. Oh, I got a good spot. Because Balaam don't have to travel on a donkey. That's what we're going to put it in there. So let me finish this chapter out. Where were we? So Balaam was the fisherman. When Balak heard that Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him at the Moabite town on the Arnon borders, at the edge of his territory. Balak said to Balaam, did I not send you an urgent summons? Why didn't you come with me? Am I really not able to reward you? What are you talking about? He showed up. Well, I have come to you now. Maybe because he didn't come the first time. Balaam, I'm here now, Balaam replied. Because Balaam was probably mad at all that bullshit just went through. But I can't say whatever I please. I must speak only what God puts in my mouth. Then Balaam went to Balak to Kerith Huzoth. I'm saying that wrong. Balak sacrificed cattle and sheep and gave some to Balaam and to the officials who were with him. The next morning, Balak took Balaam up to Baal, and from there he could see the outskirts of the Israelite camp. Yeah, nothing like, hey, we all came together. Let's sacrifice some animals. Now, at least they ate some of it, so leave that part. John, you love that story? That story's stupid. Dumb ass story. Because we ain't going to talk about it no more. That's it. The Bible doesn't talk about that no more. But Christians love to talk about that. God made a donkey speak. No reason he could have avoided the donkey speaking if the angel had just showed up to Balaam and said, hey man, at this it would have made more sense for the angel to show up. Balaam would have kneeled down and been like, hey, and then just say, hey, this is just a reminder. Only do what God tells you to do. Boom, story over. That's it. That whole part, completely avoided. That's all I had to do. But nope, we got to have all that other shit. Crushing the feet, beating the hell out the donkey and Balaam having a conversation, and Balaam just like, okay, yeah, this is normal. We normally talk to animals. So now we're in chapter 23, our last chapter for today. Then we'll have open conversations. Chapter 23 is going to be a whole bunch of talking. But let's go ahead and hit it. Balaam said, build me 7 altars here and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me. Balak did as Balaam said, and the 2 of them offered a bull and a ram on each altar. That's 14 animals we got to kill so he can get some divination. Then Balaam said to Balak, stay here beside your officials while I go aside. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet with me. Whatever he reveals to me, I will tell you. Then he went off to a barren height. God met with him, and Balaam said, I have prepared 7 altars, and on each altar I have offered a bull and a ram. You know, because this guy loves his animal sacrifice. You gotta have some blood. He loves his blood sacrifice. I'm sorry, John Spivey said on Facebook, when a jackass is your only friend, sometimes it takes a lot of bullshit to get you to get somewhere. And hold on, and Grand Rising Omoba, because I mess up that first name. Gilba? I messed that up. Brother, I have a question for you. This is on Facebook. I have a question for you. Question that has been buzzing in my mind. Who told the story of the creation of the world to man, and who wrote Genesis? Genesis and all of this, everything that we're reading right now, wasn't written down until the 700s BCE by the scribes of Hezekiah. It was oral traditions that had just been going around, but these oral traditions was also learned from the when they was under Babylonian captivity. They also learned of these from the Assyrians when they laid siege to them. They dealt with the Assyrians, the Akkadians, and the Sumerians, and the Canaanites. So these are stories that they've mixed over centuries, and the Egyptian stories that because this land was controlled by the people of the Levant in the 1200 BCE up until you get to 900 BCE is when they lost control of it from the Phoenicians. And then you have the Bronze Age collapse, which moves people into the inland where what would become the Hebrew people, the Israelite people, which is a mixture of people of the Actin, the Shashu, and the Phoenicians and Canaanites. So anyway, it's just a bunch of mixed up stories that finally got written down by Hezekiah in the 700s. And the Genesis part, they just took mostly from the Sumerian story. So back to where we at. So we got to do the chapter. I don't want to get distracted. Y'all been trying to distract me until we get to the end. Now, after we get past this chapter, we can talk about anything. All right, we can talk about anything at that point. So the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, doesn't that sound familiar? The Lord has put a word. The Lord has given me a word. The Lord has given me a word. The Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, go back to Balak and give him this word. So he went back to him and found him standing beside the offerings with the Moabite officials, and Balaam spoke his message. Balak brought me from Aram, the king of Moab, from the eastern mountains. Come, he said, curse Jacob for me. Come, denounce Israel. How can I curse those whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce those whom the Lord has not denounced? From the rocky peaks I see them. From the heights I view them. I see people who live apart and do not consider themselves one of the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob's or number even a fourth of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and may my final end be like theirs. So basically, don't curse them. Because these are the children of Israel. Don't curse them. And hopefully, y'all will remember me as much as y'all going to remember them. Because everybody remembers Balaam, right? Not very. You go outside of, you go outside of the South, and less people even know who the hell Balaam is. They'll know about the talking donkey before they know about Balaam. So Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I brought you to curse my enemies. but you have done nothing but bless them. He didn't necessarily bless them. You know, he just said that he can't curse those that God hadn't cursed. Even though that's not actually accurate, because this God has cursed them, with just a few, like 2 chapters ago, he cursed them with the plague, so he cursed them with some snakes biting them. So yeah, you're not cursing them. Yeah, we don't go for the okie doke on that one. So, but so that's what he's saying. So he answered, "Must I not speak what the Lord put in my mouth?" Don't they sound like that bullshit? I'm just telling you what God told me. If God has something to say, he can tell me his damn self. That's how I see it. Then Balak said to him, "Come with me to another place where I can see them. You will not see them all, but only the outskirts of their camp. And from there curse them for me." So maybe if I take you and you look at them from a different angle, what did they think? It was just like a strobe light. Like I went on a date with this girl. When we was inside the building, she looked one way. When we was outside the building, she looked a whole nother different way. I kept taking her inside and outside the building. I was like, this is no way this girl looked. Her facial features changed that much. I was very intrigued by that. Like, it's true. Lighting. So he acts like lighting is going to change his ability to curse these people. This is stupid. This is dumb. Anyway, took him to the other outskirts of the camp. Stop laughing, Brian. And he cursed them for me. So he took them to the fields of Zippim on the top of Pisgah. And there he built 7 altars and offered a bull and a ram for each altar. So that's 14 more animals that he's killing. 14 more animals. So what we at, 28 now. 28 animals we killing for a conversation. The Lord met with Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, "Go back to Balak and give him this word." So he went back to him and found him standing beside the offering with the Moabite official. Balak asked him, "What did the Lord say?" Now, if you already been told something, why were you expecting something different? Why would you expect something different? Well, let's find out. And he spoke this message: "Arise, Balak, and listen. Hear me, son of Zippor. God is not human that he should lie, not a human being that he should change his mind." Y'all know this guy done changed his mind. Just the whole idea of having Jesus is a change of mind. And the different teachings between Jesus and this guy is a change of mind. But we're going to keep going. First, the son is the father. The sin passes down from the father, but then later on in Isaiah or Ezekiel, the sin no longer does that. He changes his mind all the time. Y'all gonna go into the promised land? No, y'all ain't going to the promised land. Anyway, he does not speak, then not act. Yeah. He does not promise and then not fulfill. Yeah. I have received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot change it. No misfortune is seen in Jacob, no misery observed in Israel. The Lord their God is with them, and the shout of the king is among them. God brought them out of Egypt. They have the strength of a wild ox. They have no divination against Jacob. There is no divination against Jacob, no evil omens against Israel. It will not be said of Jacob or of Israel, "See what God has done." The people rise like a lioness. They rouse themselves like a lion that does not rest till it devours its prey and drinks the blood of its victims. Getting them ready for the football game, maybe, with them last few lines. But definitely 2 distinct messages. The first message is, I'm not going to curse them. They ain't cursed nobody. Then they came out of Egypt. We good. This time, oh no, they're powerful. They're like a lioness and a lion. Oh, all that. Wild ox. But yeah, but when people say, this is one of those places where definitely people are saying that God is not human, that he should not lie, and all that kind of stuff, and that he doesn't change his mind. This is where they get it from, and we know that there's plenty of evidence that he does. All right, we're almost done with the messages because there's 3. It has to be 3, right? Then Balak said to Balaam, neither curse them at all nor bless them at all. And Balaam answered, did I not tell you I must do whatever the Lord said? Look him. I told you. Quit trying to change it. Then Balak said to Balaam, come, let me take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God to let you curse them from there. And Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor, overlooking the wasteland. Balaam said, build me 7 altars here and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me. Balak did as Balaam had said and offered the bull and the ram on the altar. Now, we're not going to see what the 3rd message is because that's in the next chapter. Chapter 24 is for next week. So there's going to be a 3rd message, right? So understand that these people believe, as you do in witchcraft, what they call witchcraft, that there are certain places that will imbue different powers if you were to use those places. I can give a different message. Mind you, Balak is worshiping the same God that the Israelites are worshiping, but yet thinks that if he changes the place of the asking, then he's going to get a different answer from this God. Gucci said, it sounds like you're reading the Epic of Gilgamesh. You will find similarities in the Epic of Gilgamesh to this story, to these types of stories. Talking animals, building altars, speaking to different gods and deities. And all for what? Trying to find the blessings of immortality. That was Gilgamesh's main thing. Got to get that immortality. I had to go find Utnapishtim. Got to get me some of that immortality, bro. Oh, yeah. This deity changes his mind constantly. Answers prayers, taking free will. It can also be persuaded. It changed his mind. I'm going to kill all these Israelites. We just read when Moses convinced him. See, that's why we read and do this. Because we just read, was that last week, where Moses convinced this joker not to do what he was originally said he was going to do. He had to change his mind. He changed his whole goddamn mind. That was in 20, I believe. So it just lied when he said that God doesn't change his mind. Yep. It got cannibalism in it, eating bodies of Christ and flesh and drinking blood. I'm a little disappointed. I thought Mr. Ben Israel would be on here saying some stuff. I'm surprised. But hey, I don't know. Each his own. Not necessarily. Moses is a name. Moses is what's interesting is Moses is a Semitic name is Moshe. But Moses is a Hellenistic Egyptian name. Well, I shouldn't say Hellenistic Egyptian. That would not be true, would it? It's an Egyptian name because that name was around before the Greeks came into Egypt. Because there was Ramoses, there was Thutmoses, but it's just a popular name like John Smith. Children are the immortality of man and woman, the seeds that continue the cycle of life. And I can accept that. I also look at immortality as that my consciousness never dies and my energy never dies. Is always will be. But who's Satan? Who's Satan, Sheila? We're in that part. So, hey, I thank you guys for listening to the message today, the lesson today. As on normally we do this on Tuesday if you're finding me for the first time. Usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday is What's Wrong with the Bible, and we're reading at least 2 chapters from whatever book, and we're reading through it. I don't know how far we're going to go with this thing, but we have certainly went far enough for people to say, yeah, I'm done with this book. But so thank you guys for that. If you got any questions about what we read today, great. If you have questions about anything or want to talk about anything, we can do that part now as well. If you want to see previous versions of this particular storyline or this particular style, go to my YouTube page of Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz, and you go to the playlist and you can find the different other books that we've already done. But who's Satan? Satan is the administrator over earth, according to the Sumerians. And the Akkadians just didn't have the right type of translation for that, which Akkadian is the first Semitic language. And then they translated it to mean adversary. Well, the Hebrew translated it to mean adversary. But it just meant the administrator, the person in charge of earth. What is this? Jesus did not die for our sins, and no one can take on anyone's sins because sin don't exist. Right. And nobody can. Like I said earlier, my only thing that I find is sinful is when you do things that you know is not good for you. Things that you don't want to do. Things that are made, hey, you should pray. I don't like praying, so don't pray. But if you pray, you're sinful. Because you're creating problems within self. I don't do nothing that I don't want to do. Well, can't say I don't say I don't do nothing that I don't want to. I have done things I don't want to do, but I'm doing them because I don't like love for somebody else. Like love for my kids. So I may not necessarily want to do that particular thing, but the reason I'm doing it is for my children or something. But just purely just doing something that has no impact on anybody I care about, no, I'm not doing it. But yeah, Jesus didn't die for you because he didn't die. Because there wasn't a Jesus in the capacity that the Bible created this Jesus. Grand Rising Iman. Yeah, but there are dualities and multitudes of different. If you're talking about the different stories and whatnot, then yes. But I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. I'm not sure about that one. I heard that David meant a general or commander in Egypt. I'm not so sure about that one. But we do have to recognize that names also have meanings to them as well. Right? It's like all language. Like words have a meaning. So a name can mean something, but also be a person. But I don't think the name David is an Egyptian word at all. No. I'm going to disagree with you on this one, Karen. Karen saying that Satan is from Saturn, a planet that fell to Earth, was a macabre Saturn planet. Satan ruled the Earth for thousands of years. When you look at the people in the Levant, the Sumerians are oldest. Sumerians had a term, Satan, which meant the administrator. So Enlil was the Satan of Earth, meaning he was the administrator over Earth. He is also El in the garden, and later on becomes Yahweh as well after they strip Enki from being Yahweh. But he is also the storm god El, Jehovah. But he was the Satan over the earth, while Anu was the king over the whole Anunnaki empire, people, whatever. So Satan originally meant administrator, had nothing to do with the planet Saturn. You don't get to it being relatable to the planet Saturn until you get to the Babylonians, which is thousands of years later. Because the Babylonians were the main ones who pushed more of the planetary system narrative of identification with gods. And Saturn is actually identified with Marduk more so than a Satan. Because Marduk was he was angry because he was supposed to be the new Satan of Earth, but Enlil didn't want to give up the title, and so they had a war. And out of that war, you get your Tower of Babel story, you get your gods in heavens fighting, you get your destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. If you go back and read the histories of the people, you will see that there were 3 messiahs that eventually became one person. I think how you say Moses was more than one person. Messiah, Jesus messiahs, he's 4. There's 4 of those. Moses's, there's 3. There's there's the Moses with the what do you call them people? Hyksos, the guy who led the lepers, named Moses. There's Ramoses, the worshiper of the Akhten who fought Tutankhamun in a sea battle. And there's another Moses character from the Shashu people. Right. It is funny to me that Satan and Lucifer doesn't mean anything that Christians think it means, or Muslims, or and most people, because they don't. Lucifer is the planet Venus. It's the light bringer. It wherever Venus is, where Venus rises in the night sky, that's where the sun is going to rise. It's the light bringer, the bringer of the sun, brings illumination. Is Venus. Lucifer is not a being, it's a planet. I've heard people say this, Trauma. I have seen zero evidence that Saturn was ever a sun. And then some of them vacillate between saying Saturn was a sun and Jupiter was a sun. Like, they can't even make up their mind. No, Josephus. Well, see, most of the Jesus characters come from the writings of Josephus, and he wrote about 4 different ones. There's 4 distinct Jesuses in his. And you would be right, Angela. Muslims do talk about Jesus, Esau is what I think what they call him. And they just say he was a great prophet. He wasn't the son of God and all that kind of stuff. But they do believe that, I think most of them think that he is going to return at the end with Muhammad. But they just believe he was a great prophet. And that's why their Christians are following him wrong. This is what we do, Karen and Jeremy. And if I'm ever wrong, trust me, I am easy to say that, oh, my bad, got this part wrong. And Sheila is right on the money. The reason why, Brian, is because most of the people don't read. They don't read and they don't study. They'll just take that's what they said about Satan. Satan, the devil, and Lucifer are all the same being. Beelzebub, all the same. The serpent, they all the same. The beast, they all the same. It's like all these are very distinctively different. They're not the same. Is it true that Lucifer is only mentioned 3 times in the Bible, and all 3 times is referring to Jesus in the New Testament? No. Is it only mentioned 3 times? Yes. Referring to Jesus every time? No. The 2 times, there's only 1 time in Revelation that is actually somewhat referring to the Son of Man. But the other times it's referring to the planet Venus. And it's used, even when it's mentioned and you can refer it to the Son of Man, it's a metaphor. Instead of being a direct, this is. So I need to trim this thing. Mustache is all in my playing with my nose. But no, it's in the Old Testament. It's actually talking about the king of Tyre. I think it's the king of Tyre that they're referring to as what's his name? Lucifer. I would have to research this part. I've never heard of a red sun showing up behind. That's showing up now behind the sun. Boondocks, you ever heard of that? Because you are very much into the astrological stuff, way more so than I am. Is us not Jesus as code, a code pertaining to the people in the nation? It is. It's he's us, not Jesus. A code. I'm not exactly sure I understand what you mean there by that one. Iman. You can check that out. I knew he would have some astrological stuff. Right. So this will be a later incarnation of the word Satan based on the Jewish word Satan, which means adversary. But the Jewish people took the word Satan from the Assyrians, the Akkadians, but ultimately from the Sumerians, which means administrator, not adversary. But I get what you're saying. Saturn is the ruler of the winter in the tropics of Capricorn. Okay, so it was the king of Tyre. Right. He was losing because of what he charged for their purple. He ain't have any humility, and they said he will fall like Lucifer because Venus. I don't know. Did anybody? I remember somebody said they were gonna go. They were gonna do it. They were gonna get up, and they was gonna watch how Venus looks like it falls when the sun is rising. I'm not sure about this because I don't know, man. How can you make an artificial sun? You if somebody made an artificial sun on Earth, the Earth would burn. No. Right. The Egyptian did draw 2 suns on the hieroglyphics. I got to check that one because I was studying. I was studying the Meta Natures for a while, but then I stopped. I learned how to translate them for myself. But life would have it, I stopped studying it. I'm gonna have to look that up. All right, Imam, do me a favor. Put some commas in there or something. So I'm thinking you're saying Jesus original, nature original, the first teacher of life, spirituality, and self. The way no, okay, yeah. I have no idea. I don't know what your point is. Grand Rising Black Lands. Well, now let's put a little science in this too. The sun will continue to get hotter because although it is not significant enough for us to really be able to tell, it will take lifetimes to be able to tell. The sun is getting bigger. With it getting bigger, it will get hotter. At some point, billions of years from now, the earth will not be inhabitable for our type of life. So, but now we're also making our atmosphere hotter as well. Are we helping? Sumerians named the planet Saturn, Anu, and Anshar. First Anu was the sky, just the sky, period. He was the original. Anu was the original sky daddy. Later on, yes, Anu does become Saturn, but then later on, Marduk becomes Saturn. The hardest part about understanding the Sumerian story and all of that stuff is depending upon if you're talking about the Akkadians, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, or the Sumerians. First, you got to decide which one of those people you're talking about. Then you got to decide what time frame, because this is a story that was told for what 6,000 years. So you got a lot of changes going on with those stories. Like, where's one of my little handy charts? Now this is from the Sumerian and Akkadian versions of them. But Anu was first as the sky daddy, just meant sky, heavens. He was the god of Uruk. Later on, let me see where. Later on, and that was when he was with Namu. And that was in the very, very beginning when he was with Namu. Later on, when he's with Ki, he is also known Sky Daddy, God of Earth, Mother India. Nope, still not referred to Saturn at that point. This one may not have it. May not tell me when he was referred to as Saturn. And you see, that's him. Yeah, this one don't tell me when he was referred to as Saturn. So that might be during the Assyrian and Babylonian time frame that he was known as Saturn. Because according to what I'm looking at, during the Sumerian or Akkadian time frame, he wasn't known as Saturn. Anshar, is Anshar on here? During the Akkadian and Sumerian time frame, Anshar was known as the god of the northern celestial pole, not Saturn yet. So that might be our Assyrian and Babylonian time frame. But that's actually a good example of when we claim something, we got to be able to know certain time frames of claiming these things. Oh, got to give, thank you, Orion. I appreciate that. I appreciate that tremendously. Now, I'm going to give Boondocks, this is where we are in agreement. As far as China creating an artificial sun is a nuclear fission reaction. No, is it fusion or fission? Okay, which one? Whichever one. What? Fusion separate. Wait a minute. I'm getting them wrong. What does the sun do? The sun does fission, right? Where it splits. No, splitting an atom is nuclear fusion. No, that fusion is the fuse to come together. So yeah, fusion, come together. All right, yeah, that part. But yeah, so a nuclear fusion reactor, and it's not like we haven't known how to do that. We've known how to do it since the 1930s. The problem was we didn't have any method of containing the energy without creating an explosion. And I'm with Karen. Sun gazing works any time of the year for me, any time of day. That's why some of these videos are done outside in the sun. Right. I had to think the word through. Fusion. I don't know. Y'all confusing me now. Now I got Brian saying fission. Y'all make up y'all damn mind. Whichever one the sun does is the one that we just figured out how to do it and contain the energy. Which, I'm gonna tell you, this is the sad thing about these humans. Monetarily and power-wise, they're gonna do whatever they can to block it from becoming normal processes of human life. Because the beauty of fusion fission is that it doesn't have the nuclear waste material that our current nuclear process has. So it's, you're talking clean, some clean energy and tremendous amount of energy. The world they ain't ready for that. When energy doesn't cost nowhere near as much money anymore, it messes up the world. Imagine, what was it? Dr. Brown, he needed to get 1.21 gigawatts. And it wasn't until he went to the future that he had Mr. Fission, Mr. Fusion, or Mr. Fission. You know what? Y'all are pissing me off with this word because y'all got me confused, and I don't like being confused. The sun produces nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion reaction powers the sun. Fusion. In fusion reaction, two light nuclei merge to form a single heavier nucleus. And the process releases energy because the total mass of the resulting single nucleus is less than the mass of the two original nuclei. The leftover mass becomes energy. All right. Now, so it's fusion. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you, everybody who participated in finding out that it's fusion, goddammit. The sun works on fusion, power plants work on fission. So the fission creates all that waste material while the fusion doesn't have the waste material. And that would be an awesome thing for us to be able to have. Maybe we can get off this. Maybe I can leave this planet then. and then I'd be happy. I can get off. I can leave. Yeah, and this was a lie. We were taught not to look at the sun because it's healing. 20 minutes in the sun every day will heal any disease. I don't know about that part. I don't know. I'm people spend all day in the sun. It's not one thing. It has to be a multiple things working together. Because you can spend 20 minutes in the sun, but if your diet sucks, then it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna heal you of anything. If your immune system is not being boosted, if it's constantly fighting all the trash that you put in your stomach, you're still gonna be sick. Now, I used to have a roommate, and this chick, she did encourage sitting out in the sun, you know, but her biggest thing was all the herbs, and the diet. And I can say, if I spent 6 months under her regime, this body might be feeling a lot better. Not that I can't do it, but because I don't remember all the stuff that she was. Because it just would be like all the stuff that was the different things that she put together for different ailments. So the herbs, the diet, and some healing herbs and tinctures and all that stuff. That is very important too. Sleep doesn't come to me easily. If I can go to sleep before 2 o'clock, that's an achievement. That in itself is an achievement. If I can go to sleep before 2 a.m. That is the goal, become a light body so we can all ascend. But even before becoming a light body, I just want to leave. I want the mothership to come get me. They forgot I was here. I'm sure George Clinton is on it. I need to go with the P-Funk. Get the hell off this planet. But so what is this? I don't even want to try to say that one. Datomasius. Datomasius. Yeah. I don't recommend y'all do nothing. You research everything for yourself now. Let's see. Datomasius food grade. When you take it by mouth, Datomasius earth is used as a sort of silica for treating high cholesterol levels, for treating constipation, and for improving health of skin, nails, teeth, bone, and hair. When applied to the skin or teeth, Datomasius earth is used to brush teeth and remove unwanted dead skin cells. The food grade, the reason why you want the food grade, because it contains fewer heavy metals. And and this is a daily thing. So I would have to do more research on it before I would use it. But if anybody looked at this and thought that it was interesting, please go research it for yourself and make that decision on your own. But WebMD says that that's what it does, all that stuff. Treating high cholesterol, constipation, skin, nails, teeth, hair, bones. It's also used as an insecticide. But there's not enough information to know whether if there are side effects of it. But study it first before anybody does it. Take it. See what the side effects are, all that kind of stuff. And then report back to us. Your grandmother said the older you get, the less sleep you need. I've been this way my whole life, though. It's always been hard to go to sleep. But I can understand that. It seems like it's real. Although sleep is good for you, though. Unless most of your body's healing process is most effective when you're asleep. We've been on since like 10 minutes after 1. Grand Rising Yoshi. The only reason I put what Yoshi said up here, Yoshi, there's something you said in a post yesterday and today. Yesterday, I'm gonna make up my own stupid skit out of it. So look for it, Yoshi. I thought it was funny as hell. I'm not gonna tell y'all about it because you're just gonna have to watch it. And of course, Yoshi said something stupid like, "I love heavy metals." Him and Aladdin. Oh. Now y'all know I agree with this one all day long. The body is a soup. This ain't nothing but a meat soup, holding your spirit, your consciousness. So it chops up It chops up all the parasite. Takes 1 teaspoon in the morning and afternoon. Okay. Yeah, and that's what it was said of how you take it. No, it wasn't part of my comment. It was when you said that you got to have, it's your duty to sin. And that's all I'm saying. It's your duty to sin. Yeah, I think sleep is very important. If you don't get enough sleep, your body doesn't have a chance to heal. And the older you get, it's harder for your body to heal. So to me, I think you need more sleep than less sleep. It's probably one of the reasons why my body doesn't heal as well as it used to. It's because I'm not getting enough sleep. Hey, Yoshi. Shh. 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 Because when you wrote that, I heard it as a joke. So shh. Grand Rising Christian, where you been, man? Short answer, what is fifth dimensional? 5D is fifth dimensional. Being able to see yourself, see the world, see the universe on a fifth dimensional plane. You know, this gross matter plane is like a third dimensional plane, right? Your ability to think and dream is more fourth dimensional. It's like the very first part of the spiritual plane. But to understand the universe and the cosmos in a higher spiritual plane is fifth dimensional species. having a sense of fifth dimensional thought process and being. No, it's like the law of correspondence where there are multiple levels of everything. So, like, understanding that you are a being that is merely existing here on a lower vibration inside of this meat suit, but being able to relate to the consciousness of a bush, of a tree, of an animal, the air, the wind, and feeling it and understanding the connection to it is more fifth dimensional thinking. Recognizing that there is no beginning nor end to your consciousness, but truly knowing it, not just recognize it, but truly knowing it and being able to embody it, controlling your emotions and things of that nature. Bruh. Yoshi crazy. To reach a dimensional plane where there is no such thing as time or space would mean that you would have to be outside of the created universe. You understand what I'm saying by that? Because time inside the universe, time exists, space exists. You would have to be able to step outside of that universe to be outside of time and space. Because although we measure time on Earth based on rotation and revolutions, if you was on Mars, if you was on Jupiter, time would be different. If you was in another solar system, time would be different. It would be based on wherever you are within that one. If you were outside of any galaxy and just existing within the universal, kind of the universal galaxy, time and space would be measured differently. To be without time and space, you'd have to be out. So you see how you would have to be outside of the created universe to be in a place where there is no time nor space. And one of the things they do in those movies, like, what's that movie that I saw, Interstellar? Is like when he was inside the black hole thing, he was outside of time and space, but he was only outside of time and space as measured by Earth time and space. But he was still within a system of time and space because he was still part of the matter, a part of the universe, of this created universe. Yep. Sheila going with me. Gonna get on the spaceship and get the hell on. Oh, there's a book about the 11th dimension. Man, I don't even know if that would be 11th dimensional. That would have to be that. That's probably some dimensional number that I couldn't even imagine what that number would be. Just think about it. You would have to be outside, regardless of what you believe, whether you believe in the scientific understanding of the singularity, or if you believe in the created mind, the intelligent mind. You'd have to be outside of both of those. You would have to be able, although we can witness singularities occurring within our universe, you would have to be outside of this universe to be able to witness the repetitive singularity that happens, that creates this universe. And in order to do that, are you in another universe that is witnessing yet a singularity inside of its universe? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, like, you know how we can witness a singularity, we're outside of that, but that's happening in our universe. You have to be outside of it. But is it happening within another universe? And if it is, then you got to get outside of that universe, because that universe is still be having time and space. So how can you get to there? And if you're a being that's created in the infinite mind of the all, you would have to be outside of the mind of the all in order to be outside of time and space, which will make you equal to or greater than the all. But yet you were originally created inside the mind of the all. So if you believed in that, then you can never reach that spot. And even in the science part, you can't reach that spot. So I don't see how that works. I don't see how you can ever get there. Right. But there is still time and space even before the singularity. The model of the singularity shows the singularity, but there's a expansion that way, and then there's a crushing coming this way that creates the singularity that expands again repetitively. Christian is asking this question: anybody tried like cleansing dye glasses? Were you able to be? You're supposed to be able to see somebody's aura. That would be interesting. If anybody's ever heard of that or seen that, let us know. Ooh, let's get all philosophical. Our eyes are black holes. What kind of eye is our pineal gland? Black holes trap light, but what does that trap? Memories. Ooh. So I see what you say. I see where you're going with the eyes of black holes, because light comes in and traps the light and creates a picture and all that kind of shit in the imagery, and we see the light at the image. Okay, I see where you're going. But then the third eye is called an eye, but that sees the universe on a whole nother scale. So it's trapping that different kind of light and energy. Okay, I see where you're going. But it's more than just memories. It wouldn't just be memories, because you're seeing things that are outside of your memory. Oh, or are you? Is it just memories that you did not know that you had from previous conscious states of being? Oh. It'll be like Athena bursting out of the head of Zeus. So Yoshi says that those glasses, okay, hold on. Those glasses are just a myth. Wow. And yeah, it's a memory as soon as it happens. But when you open your third eye, one of the things that you realize is how all things are connected through energy and frequency. And you can see that happening in the gross matter level. And you can then understand that you can truly see the correspondence, the law of correspondence, and how they're connected from the higher to the lower, and the lower to the higher. So as above, so below becomes more apparent when that third eye opens. And some of those things are the connection between like this mental mind C and the mental mind A and the spirit mind C, or the mental mind C and the elemental mind A, and can then cross the barrier between the two. And yes, that is the funny thing about time. It only just passes and it never stops. And that's the thing about it. It's the way we experience it. But time is an illusion. It certainly is an illusion, because it only exists based on our experience of where we are right now and what plane of existence we're in. I don't know about that one. I haven't can see through our bodies. I don't know. I can't say I wouldn't declare myself a fifth dimensional being as much as I would say that I have fifth dimensional thinking. If that makes it a being, sure. But maybe it's kind of like depending upon what you focus on is what you're able to see or do. I'm still trying to levitate shit. But yes, time is an illusion, but it's a real illusion. I think, therefore I am kind of thing. You're absolutely right. Because whatever you accept and whatever you think is what is. And then there's some things that are absolutes. They're just absolutes for the level that you exist on. I don't think that I will be able to speed up my vibration in my hands so that I can pass through objects. I think that's a barrier that this plane has that you cannot go beyond because this physical matter can't function like that. But there are limitations, and there must be limitations on every dimensional plane. Which, in order to have a dimensional plane, there must be barriers. Let's see, we got a whole book. So far, as much as I wanted to be a good Christian, it's not a fit. I'm just learning about my family tree. Always wondering why raised Baptist parents weren't religious. My dad was a Mormon, and my grandmother was a Sunday school teacher, very religious. I honestly wish I could just blindly believe walking away from religion or belief system isn't making shit easier. What to do? Oh my gosh. So you had Baptist parents, but your dad was Mormon, and your grandmother was a Sunday school teacher. What to do? That's a hard one because I don't know you well enough to truly, really tell you what to do. In general, I would tell a person learn the chakra system. Not so much because I believe chakras are the end all be all, but because of what they represent as far as getting over certain physical things that we deal with on this plane, like fear, guilt, shame, loss of love, trust, truth of who we are, who you are to yourself, your inner truth, dealing with that shadow person, seeing those connections and recognizing the different earthly attachments, matter attachments that we have emotionally and physically, and being able to see beyond them. And then find peace in the fact that we don't need, like I've been talking a lot about morality for the last couple of days over this weekend. That morality comes from your innateness of being a good person, or if you're deciding to be a bad person. But morality is based on if you want to violate yourself. And every time you violate somebody in a way that you don't want to be violated, you're truly violating yourself. So realizing that there is no need of a deity in order for you to have morality or to raise your consciousness, which makes it where other people's opinions don't matter. Like, fuck them. And finding peace in that. And that is the hardest part, probably. Finding peace in the fact that what other people believe or want to push on you doesn't necessarily have to be what you think and how you live and how you feel. Yeah, we can see past two dimensions. I'm with you on the seeing part. But there are certain things that I would love to be able to do, but just, I want superpowers. I desire to have superpowers. Who built the pyramid? Some previous Earth civilization that was already here past the last ice age? I think they use sound technology to move the pyramids. to move those blocks. There are some hieroglyphs that show that looks like they're using sound waves to move those big giant ass blocks. You talking about that stupid ass dude on TikTok? It's like he, you know, he's using wind. It's kind of like back in the 80s, there was a guy who was claiming he could move pages of a book, and then they set it up. There's one scientist put all this stuff around that if he did it and the damn other stuff moved, then he know he was using wind power. And then all of a sudden, dude was like, "Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not the right setting," and some other bullshit that he came up with. But yeah, I seen that dude. I don't Giants. I'm not 100% sold on Giants. Now, I do believe that we have mental energies that do connect to one another, um, especially the closer the relationship you have to somebody or the acceptance that that person has of your energies. Yes. Um, if I sat right here and think about Brandon and tell his ass to call me, eventually he's in San Diego. He will call. And me and Angelina play with energy all the time. Horrible in some of the places that we did because this weekend. Hey, okay, y'all ain't gonna believe me, but I'm gonna tell you this anyway. You're not gonna believe me, and it's fine. I don't care. So we were at my cousin's funeral services at the gravesite on Saturday, and the wind was blowing. So while they're doing some of their Christian ceremony stuff, um, and that wind was whipping, me and Angelina was like, "Okay, let's make the wind stop blowing." So we both focused in for about a minute. It probably wasn't even a whole minute, and the wind stopped blowing. And then we're at the funeral, and we try. I'm like, "Stop laughing! Don't laugh out loud." You know, we laughed at some other stuff that happened too, but uh, yeah, we play with energy manipulation constantly. I do think there are levels that we can affect on small portions. There's a difference between going through a solid object and being able to phase through it. Um, one, you're asking your body, and others, you're asking your soul. Right. I want to phase through objects. Kitty Pride this thing. I'm gonna be like Kitty Pride. Or most of y'all may not know who Kitty Pride is. So Vision from the Avengers, Vision. All right, I'm getting behind. See, even though they're Shaq, Yao Ming, Andre the Giant, they're not giants. You want to you a giant to me? You got you. I need. What was there on the Super Friends? They had the Native American dude. He would say in the chalk, and he turned into like 50 feet. That's a giant. Give me some 50 feet, 8 feet. No, all this 8 feet, 8 foot and below. That's not giants to me. Not giant where you're lifting blocks like the blocks at the pyramid blocks. No, I need 50 feet. There you go. Tell Karen be manipulating that wind. Like we did it to the rain. We was out sitting out back with the fire pit, and it kept on acting like it wanted to rain, and we kept making the rain stop. But then the rain, then when we stopped paying attention, the rain tried to sneak back in, and we make it stop again. Then we finally just got tired of doing it. We went inside. Okay, so my situation is very different. Coach, have you lost a lot of family, Christian family, lot of family, Christian family doing what you do? Okay, I don't know how you wrote that, but I get what you mean. No, when it comes to real family, no, I did not lose. I haven't lost any Christian family. Any of my family, no. But see, I had the support of my grandmother back when I was a kid. Like my grandmother wasn't going to let you ostracize anybody, so that wasn't going to happen. Um, we've had some moments where people get mad, but nobody's like, oh, I'm not talking to you no more. Um, even the pastors that I've like every pastor that I've ever been under, I could call them right now, and some of them call me. Like I get at least 2 or 3 of them that call me every month, and most of the time they talk to me about how they wish they could leave, but their money is too tied into it. If I've lost friends and been over something else, no, I haven't. But I know that is not everybody. Some people, some of y'all have lost friends and family, and that's terrible. That people will be like that. But yeah, and this is what happens when you open your third eye. You recognize things like this. We're all connected. Individuality is an illusion. It's an experience. We're all like drops of water in the ocean. Each drop in the ocean is having its own experience, but it's still a drop within the ocean. All together, it makes the ocean. And so we have the same experience as the entire ocean, yet having our own experience within the ocean. No, 14 feet is still not a giant. Not back in the day, giants building pyramids, giants. No. A team of 12-foot giants could do some hard work. Yeah. Yeah. Your sacral chakra is your will, your intuition, your connection to universe. That is your purest connection, like to universe. Well, no, you said sacral. Well, actually, no, I'm gonna say your solar plex is your will. That's sacral is your pleasure, is where you derive pleasure, and you have to get over your guilt, which are people that's placing that guilt on you. But that's where your sexual energy comes from, which is one of your strongest energies. But I would say your solar plex chakra is where it is without emotion, it is without reason. It's just automatically, it's just connected to universe. Like that's where, like when we say, I knew in my gut told me. That's how I look at that. We can look at it different. We don't have to look at it the same. But that's where I look at it, as your gut being that thing that is closest to your will. But it's the one that we don't listen to the most, which is the one we should listen to the most. That's that one it sees the red flags of people around you, but then you reason your way out of it, or emotionalize your way out of it, or sexualize your way out of it. You know, what was it in that movie? Why Did I Get Married? When they was asking Jihad White, I think it was whatever the guy name. I think that's Jihad White. When they was asking him like, why do you put up with her? And he was like, man, the sex is, but his sacral chakra is all out of whack. And I can understand this. Even if they were 12-foot giants, they will be using more advanced tech than ours. It only takes about 500 years or less for machines to turn into dust. True. Most ancient civilizations, most of the things that we have found, and rephrase, most of the things we found about ancient civilizations is like less than 1% of probably what was around. But and if your average height of a person is like 4 foot, then yeah, you probably would call a 12-foot person or 15-foot person a giant. I think when they look at the inscriptions of the Sumerians and Akkadians, they estimate that the comparison of height would be the average person being around 4 foot, whereas the Anunnaki were ranging from 15 feet to 30 feet. So they would have called them giants. I just wouldn't. Right. Solar plexus is your power chakra. That's why I connect power and will together. But that's the thing. I forgot who wrote this. Said what should they do? However you work through those concepts will free you from the issues that you have with walking away from religion. I'm just here to see if we're going to become good friends. Okay, so with me, or with everybody on here, because with me, friendship is derived from us spending time together and going through some things. There is a connection that I have to have with people in order to call them friend. We cool, but friend, that's a whole nother thing. Because there are parts about me that you guys do not know. And some of y'all might be like, I don't like him now. I don't like that Joker. Because it's something about him. Because I didn't know this or that. Or there are conversations that we would have, you probably like, ah. But yes, trauma is right. Your stomach does. So your brain, so you know how your brain got synaptics in them? So does your heart, so does your stomach, and so does your vaginal area, your genital area, vaginal. Your genital area has synaptics in it. So each one of them think. When you learn how to control those thought processes from each one, and for actually not control, it's control, but it's the fact that you don't allow any one of those to supersede. Each one of them have a purpose and a lane, but oftentimes they cross in lanes. When you learn how to keep each one in their lane and utilize each one of them at the right time for the right situation, and follow that process of each one, the thought process of each one, it brings about more enlightenment. And it takes time. Because I ain't gonna lie, like most people in their earlier days, your younger days, that sacral chakra be running your shit. And then that heart chakra be running everything for some people. And you mess up, you make many different mistakes. Okay, your solar plexus. Okay, that's what I was thinking. But I was willing to be wrong. Always am. That's how you learn more. Grand Rising Pharrell. This is your first time, I think. So welcome to the fam. So I'm just getting into this being raised Christian, just feeling something wasn't quite right. Is there a correct higher power besides self and reaching your highest vibration? Because I'm confused, but want to know the truth and focus on that truth. See, correct is the word that throws me off. Because once you say correct, then you're perpetuating an ideology that everybody has to fall under. What's correct is what works for you, right? Now, but in that same vein, raising your consciousness to its high vibration and looking inward is correct. Looking outside of yourself first and becoming dependent on everything outside of yourself is definitely going to lead you down the wrong path. And when I say the wrong path, you might be a great person. There are plenty of people who are of every religion, and they are the great people. But their ass is coming back to repeat this process. They still not going to elevate their consciousness enough where they can leave this existence, right? They'll never reach that highest vibration that you can possibly reach while in this matter plane. So you have to go within self first. It's just an absolute, right? Raise your consciousness above cultural conformities and gender, race, all these other conformities that we have, and see beyond those. Still recognizing you have to deal with them, but see beyond them when it comes to your thought process on you and how you function towards everyone else. Of course, we have to defend ourselves against the idiocy that's out there. So that would be correct. I just hate using that term because I'm not trying to quantify and create some religious statement, but that would be more correct. So coming to the truth of knowledge of self first, and of the universal powers and universe that surrounds you, that would be the thing. Recognizing that these religions are created to condemn and control and to diminish your vibrations. Makes them wrong as hell. But that truth is all within you. It's not outside of you. Oh, Brian saying some more mushy bullshit. Let's see what you guys say. Coach, I just wanted to say something without sounding too mushy or anything like that. I'm glad I found your page. It really has helped me a lot in my deconstruction. It was a kind of like a missing link that I needed to help accelerate my unlearning and return. Thanks. Come here, Brian. Come on, Brian. Come in here, Brian. Not just funny. See why y'all may not want to be my friend. That's why y'all don't see. Let me skip down because y'all not fell behind again. I'm telling y'all, you're welcome forever. I'm telling you. We had to give Brian the digital hug. No, we probably are on the same plane. We are on the same plane. We might be. No, you better not. I don't want anybody to believe everything that I say. No. Without our differences, and this, oh my gosh, I'm about to quote the Troll movie, what was it called? The Rock Tour or something tour. That me and Angelina just watched that movie again. It is through our differences that we actually become a greater society and greater being and take a greater, develop a greater connection to the universe. Our differences we shouldn't be melded into one. Our differences should come together as one. It's like a salad. You don't want a salad where everything is green. You want some peppers and some different stuff all in there, all the different colors and different things, and then they all get into a little ratatouille when it all comes together and creates explosions in your mouth. You know, you want all the differences. And you know this, man. I think that's the part of me that some of y'all may not like. If you got to know me, really, really got to know me, we can just hanging out. Like, damn, you're a smart ass sometimes. Or you say something stupid, oh, I'm gonna call you out on it. If you do something stupid, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna make jokes. Nah, I'm pretty sure that me and Brian would probably get along. We would probably get along. I would get along with Bobby most of y'all because it's not that hard. If you don't get along with me on a personal level, then you probably got a problem yourself. There's something wrong with you. But yes, Boondock is right. I always want people to check everything I say, check every resource, check everything. Don't just take what I say and just go up. Go with it. But yeah, to pray is faith. If you're gonna pray to yourself. Pray to yourself. You know, all right, Rens, the God inside you, the goddess inside you. We're gonna break down this wall of whatever. We're gonna get this, that, this done. This is what will be because I, within myself, have decided that it is the way it's gonna be. But pray to yourself. Don't pray to some deity outside of yourself. Oh, you also want to think of the Kabbalion is great, and the Napoleon Hill book. That book, Napoleon Hill book, is Outwitting the Devil. For those who may be wondering what other book he's talking about, it's Outwitting the Devil. Great books to be read. But yeah, this is kind of true. Successful people are assholes sometimes. Well, at least they're perceived that way because they're not. Look, you cannot be successful and care about what everybody says or thinks and try to make everybody happy. The moment you start trying to make everybody happy, you're headed for failure. Trust me. I've been down that road a few times. But everything's on the inside. At this time in my life, I'm convinced the modern day Bible is a manuscript for the rapist, slave owner, and powerful man. It's to keep you under control. It excuses man and only man of his sins. Probably why the church is highly women and people of slavery. That's not even if you're gonna count that as modern day, then you got to start from like 700, 800 BCE, because and even not just the Bible, pretty much most of the ancient religions, except for alchemy and Hermeticism, Taoism is not so alchemy. So the only philosophies or things like that that I consider that are not hell bent on that is the Tao, Buddhism to a certain degree, for the most part, Buddhism, even though it has a lot of some flaws in it. Alchemy, Hermeticism, that about it. Some of the shamanic religions or spiritualities, but pretty much everything else is built to control. Said male bonding is an as experience. We're dicks to each other out of love. Yup. But you know, when you got a good male friend, you know that no matter what happens, how much, regardless of how much time has passed, they got your back. Ooh. I'd rather read a book that affects or I can affect directly. Books like 48 Laws of Power. 48 Laws of Power is a very good book. That was I read that one in 90. Let's see what I was in base. I just got base housing. No, this is going on the second float. So I read that one in 92. Yeah, that was a good book. That was a good book. It really helped me into deal with Stashard Green. That Mississippi racist, it helped me deal with him quite well. How does a book that teaches you to go back to the original source, to not conform to the dominant culture or only answer to God, be a book of enslavement? Maybe it's not the book. What book teaches you to do that? Are you saying the Bible teaches you to do that? Teaches you to go back to the original source and not conform to the dominant culture? Are you saying? I mean, what book are you saying that teaches that? Because the Bible doesn't teach you that. The Bible teaches you to stay with the dominant culture, that slavery is okay, and how to do your slavery. I did not know this. You saying most prisons have banned the 48 laws of power? That's interesting. Yep. Gotta learn to play chess, not checkers. I saw with my third eye go flow energy. It was beautiful. I thought I saw gold. Saw God, the creator, spiritual person, told me I saw my highest self. Yeah, that's what you saw as your higher self instead of this being. Nah, Daniel. The Bible is pro slavery. The Bible is conformed to the Israelite culture of the Hebrews back in the day of uh, not mixing linen, don't work on the Sabbath, build altars and splash blood all over the place and kill animals for this sin and this offering. And it is definitely a conformity to the dominant culture of the time frame that the book was written. You're conforming to how things were during the time frame of Hezekiah and what they believed that their ancestors uh, were how they were supposed to live their life, and that's how those people were trying to get back to living a life that was that way after they came out of Babylon. Well, even before Babylonian captivity, but during Babylonian captivity, and certainly after it, it is certainly a book of conformity and control. Yeah, like Yoshi said, it may as well be a it's 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 an instruction manual of how to control people and how to keep them dehumanized and low self esteem, in a state of low self esteem. Cuneiform tablets, thoughts? I love the cuneiform tablets simply because they are unchanged. They are unchanged, unlike manuscripts are changed. You can change a manuscript over and over again. Then once you lose the originals, then whatever you have that is the oldest becomes the most original that you have, and you have to trust that that is as the same as it used to be. But once it's written in stone, you can't change it. And if a person does try to change it, you can see where the changes happen and where they occur. Now, there are changes in language over centuries, and there's changes in time. So, like when they found all the inscriptions in Nineveh and in Baghdad and all that, you can see how the story changed over thousands of years, but you can identify each time frame that they of what they believed. So I like the cuneiform tablets in their authenticity better. Now, are they telling you what it was? Was Inky and Enlil and then Harsak and Nana and all them jokers walking around with them with Baal and Marduk in their presence? Was there were the gods fighting in heavens? Was maybe what they saw was higher technology beings flying in airplanes killing each other. But I don't believe in the Biru and Anunnaki as aliens. No, but I think they might have been previous Earth civilizations. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk Neuralink? Would you get a computer chip in your brain? Hell to the no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Dude, no. No, 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 no. Not because I have any fear of, oh, it's the mark of the beast and all that bullshit. Government control, corporate control. They put a computer chip in your brain. All of a sudden, somehow they develop the ability to make you see shit that you don't, that ain't really there, or cause you to react or respond in certain ways. That's giving over your control. I'm not willing to do that. No, sir. And I don't care if they put it in people's brains and and let's say they put it in your, because this will be now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Let's say they're able to put that in your brain, and you know everything you've ever read, seen, smelled, touched, all that, every memory is in here. And it immediately gave you access to everything. Do you know how much shit I've read and how many things I've seen that I would be able to connect? I would be able to connect even more things than I can connect now, like at a level that's would make me seem, dumb as fuck right now. When I tell you I've read so much, and to be able to connect all those things, and then all the places I've been and seen, and I would be speaking French fluently, Spanish fluently, reading cuneiform fluently, hieroglyphics. I'd be able to speak Latin, ancient Hebrew. I mean, I'd be rolling. But trusting them motherfuckers? Nah. Even though that would be a great thing, I would love to have that capacity. But I gotta trust that whoever got their hands on the buttons, so to speak, are not gonna cause me to do something stupid. Or like Trump just said, they could erase everything. Oh, we don't like that damn Ren. We're gonna shut his ass down. We're gonna cause him to erase everything that he's ever learned. Yeah, dude. Oh, this is the Western world as a whole just learned morality in the last 100 years. 100. You give them too much time. 50. Think about it. Just think about it from a black person's perspective, Terrence. Civil rights didn't click until what, 1969? So let's say 70, just to make the math easier. You're only looking at 53 years since Jim Crow. No. Say it's the only way you'll do it. You'd have to build your own because they couldn't have access to it. Yeah. But they could hack it. Even if you built your own, it could be hacked. So as a former IT guy, let me put it like this. As a former IT guy, one of the safest systems in the world will be a gap system, meaning that it's not connected to anything else. It's only like within this room. But because frequencies are still there, I can get close and try to hack in to your system. So if I'm close to you, I can hack into your brain. Kind of like if you ever see a car that's parked at a gas station and they're just sitting there. They're not doing nothing. They're just sitting in their car. Sometimes those are people who are waiting for you to put your card into the machine, into the gas pump, and there's a frequency that comes off the gas point. They hack into the frequency of the gas point and they get your credit card information, right? Same thing with your brain. Even if you're on a gap system, they'll be able to hack into it. So it's still not as secure. More secure than being on the same thing with everybody else, but you know. So that's a non-starter for me. That makes you just download Jiu-Jitsu. That'd be cool to do it. That's the good part of it. That's the good part of it. I'm not giving anybody that kind of access. But it is 3:33. So yeah, good time to stop. 3:33. 3:33. I like my threes. So it's a good time to stop. Like Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, understand frequency and 369. Fibonacci spiral. So we're gonna stop right here. I'm gonna go sit outside. Don't know that wind blowing a little bit. We'll shoot a couple more videos. I did post 3 videos before we started today. Please go and check out those videos. I got some more I'm gonna post. So we probably won't have a video tomorrow. That's why I did this one today. And I did the what's wrong with the Bible today. Please share the videos. Oh shit! Something just. Oh, Angelina, I know you're still on here. Something on the front porch just blew over and broke, and it was glass. It's probably your little lanterns you created. But so we're going to end today. And yes, everything is vibration. Everything is frequency. Somebody gonna say, see, that was you talking ill about God, and that's why he broke whatever was on your front porch. But y'all have a great day. And what was I saying? So we won't have one tomorrow because I gotta go meet a man. I gotta go see a man about a horse tomorrow. And if that gets canceled, then we will come on. I'll come on tomorrow as well. But y'all have a great day. And remember, always you gotta free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.